I'm Kishan Shah and I work for St. Ethelburgers for the Sacred Activism Project, and we are in Calais at the warehouse. So the program is an idea that was created which was centered around an interfaith aspect where we've got members of different faiths, mainly millennials, to come together to do some volunteering in Calais to help the refugees. If you look globally, the refugee situation, the displaced people is more than just a crisis. It's a crisis of humanity, and St. Ethelburgers believes in creating a positive from a negative. So it's trying to see the opportunity in crisis, and therefore this seemed like a perfect marriage of the values of St. Ethelburgers and something that we could physically and actually do. So that is the reason why we're here.
In the warehouse today, we gathered, and it is really inspiring. It's like people coming together and going, okay, I want to be here, I want to help.
I say like the only thing that I really value is time, and the thing is I want to be using my time proactively, and I'd prefer to do it, do something positive with that proactive time,
I wanted to really see that these people, they're not simply defined by their political status as asylum seekers or migrants or refugees, that these are all individual peoples with individual histories, with stories.
Being able to be part of a process that feeds thousands of people, or sews a sleeping bag together or fixes a tent to give someone shelter and warmth, is something really special.
I'm Frankie. I've been at the warehouse in Calais for 2 months now. At the minute I'm doing the welcome volunteer role. So it just means I spend a few days a week in the office, like doing emails from volunteers who are coming, like sometimes like sorting out accommodation for volunteers, and then when people arrive, like giving them a tour around. At the moment there's about 500 people living rough in Calais, and about 1,300 people in Dunkirk. People are just kind of like sleeping rough in Dunkirk. Some people are like congregating around a car park, which is where some of the distributions are going on, because all the organisations here still haven't stopped going to Dunkirk. The kitchen, our refugee community kitchen, still goes every single evening.
We went on the distribution last night and took the food to the refugees out in Dunkirk.
The way I describe it is both simultaneously incredible and enjoyable, but also devastating. The actual interactions you're having with the migrants are really fun and happy. There's lots of smiling, there's laughing.
So many refugees that I've just like passively observed do seem to have a really genuine sense of humour and sense of upbeat hope, which I think is incredible.
I mean, most of them were like guys that were like roughly just a little bit older than me, like 25, 28 or something like that. So we had a lot to talk about, mainly football. They were teaching me some songs, some stuff in their language that were really interesting.
But then when you stop to think about the situation they're in, it really hits home on how awful this whole crisis is.
The kind of demands that at the warehouse we want is accommodation for people, like safe accommodation for them. I think especially for winter, I personally would really want the kind of like public spaces and gyms and stuff to be open, because it's going to get so cold. And yeah, I'd like more work to be done for minors especially minors who have like parents in the UK. More work to be done for them to be able to reunite with their families. There's kind of nothing safe about life here. Someone disappeared in the sea last week, and apparently that's not the first time. So yeah, just a better, safer kind of life for these people, and more support, kind of mentally and materially as well.
These people don't feel they belong in the world anywhere. They've had to flee from their own countries because of the devastating situations in those various countries, and then they've come looking for help, and these countries here are actually saying no, go away. So they actually feel like no one wants them. They're a stranger to their own world, and that is what really plays on my mind, because it's not just our world. What gives us the right to say no? Like, it's all of our world.
Sometimes you can get caught up in the kind of thing where you think of refugees as in like a broad kind of spectrum of like, of course, the 1,200 people that sometimes I get served by the kitchen, but I think it really matters a lot about the individual.
Without the volunteers coming, this whole setup with these different organisations, that it just wouldn't be possible. They wouldn't be able to do all of these things.
And that's another reason why I came, is so I could obviously help, but then I could go back and spread the word and tell people how critical it is that they actually come out and help themselves.
I feel like we've done some amazing stuff in a short amount of time, but I also feel like going back to like my normal life feels almost a bit mundane, and actually like there's something bigger than what I'm doing right now, and how I'm gonna like thinking about how I tap into that and do something that I feel is really making a difference.